Well, it's happening. Our stories of Resilience Night on November the 13th. This video is kind of a pre-planning of this day. Sometimes I like to go through in advance what we're going to do, but it'll give an idea also of how we plan for this event that I know in advance is going to be a very special night. First of all, a big appreciation to our Korean American Studies Core, who've been working so hard in planning this event. But that includes all the logistics like passing out the invitations or the flyers, creating the banner, the logo, um, being hosts at this event and being leaders. Just amazing. So from 7 to 7:20 on this evening, it's going to begin with a reception and refreshments hosted by AUHSD parents and the Korean consulate for this reception portion, where it's going to be more of a meet and greet, while our cast core also hosts and welcomes all our families that will be coming out. And then the actual night of resilience dedication portion will be from 7:20 to 8:30 this Monday. So once again, on this slide, we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves, welcoming our friends, family, community to the first Korean American Studies Stories of Resilience Dedication Night. This is actually going to be the first time all of us are going to be meeting face to face, because our high school course is a virtual course through e-learning at Cambridge Virtual Academy. So the fact that we've been able to plan this event all virtually, not having met even once face to face, 7 different high schools coming together, this is truly remarkable, and a reminder that we are living in the 21st century, and our students are learning so much more than just Korean American Studies, but all kinds of skills as well: communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, compassion, and more. The agenda for the evening will be as follows: an acknowledgement of special guests, introduction of the cast core and community, introduction to the Korean American Studies course, a short panel with Korean American students and their parents, the actual dedications themselves, a special thanks in the closing. So we'll go ahead and begin with this course that has received so much attention, and I'm going to play that news clip from NBC just to remind us of where we've come from since May, and that we have done this. We have started this course. But perhaps what I'm most proud of is what the students have done, and how the students are now doing something with what they know, including Millie Kwan, who was the first to have a published article about our Korean American Studies course. It came out in the Gamut, her school newspaper, and then Derek On, who was the first student to have it published in an article publishing outside of our class in the Chungan Ilbo, and so he wrote his article there as well. Lots of support coming from a variety of different places: organizations, academia, and media. In fact, this is a picture of myself just a few weeks ago at the Council of Korean Americans in Washington, D.C. This is a group, by the way, that had donated the textbooks for this course for all our students to have and use for this year and continuing. And it's a national voice where we had a chance to talk about this, so much interest in this course. And in addition to that, of course, our university, community partners as well, including the media, and even this evening, the Korean consulate, and then, of course, Invent to Prevent, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and their partnership with Anaheim Union High School District. We're going to have a variety of different acknowledgements, including an acknowledgement from the Consul General of the Republic of Korea in Los Angeles, Kim Yong-hwan, who will be sharing a short acknowledgement of this evening, along with our special guests, including Nathan Buss, a representative from Josh Newman's office, state senator, Principal Hilda Vasquez, and our very own Superintendent Michael Matsuda, who will be here as well. And we'll see if there's some more as well. It's also an opportunity to acknowledge our Korean American Studies Core, this leadership core that has been providing a lot of leadership for this civic action to occur. So I'm going to have them stand and introduce themselves. Maybe we'll be up in the front, and each one will down the line have a chance to share their name and their grade and the school that they go to. Then we'll have all the students in the Korean American Studies class, many who will be in the audience, to also stand. and then their families to stand, and then anyone who's supporting them to stand. And it'll just be a reminder of how much support this course has received. This is a quote that I say very regularly at the very beginning of class. I usually begin with, in order for the tree to grow tall, and then the students in the entire class say, you have to know your roots. And so once again, it's a reminder not only to know our Korean American roots, but how our roots, the Korean American roots, are also connected to Hispanic Latino American roots, Black American roots, indigenous roots, and all kinds of roots. And that's what's allowing us to stand tall together as we know one another's stories and do something good together with one another's stories as well. It's all interconnected. And my goal is in this class, as students leave, they'll leave with greater compassion, empathy, respect, and connection with one another. And once again, this course began from a place of pain. We saw two pandemics in 2020. First was, of course, the COVID-19 global pandemic, and the second was the surge in anti-Asian racism. And so I guess it came to my attention. I had it in the back of my mind, but when a student came up to me and was fearful and said that she was scared that her family would experience racism. And I don't think I gave her the correct answer when I said, I don't think it's going to happen here in Orange County because according to the 2020 OC Human Relations Report, in fact, there was an 1,800% increase in hate incidents toward Asians. The elderly, even this 91-year-old man being pushed to the ground, some being killed, and then, of course, the Atlanta shootings. And then when the Atlanta shootings happened, the 6 Asian American women, I told myself I could not be silent on this topic anymore. I had to do something. Now, a lot of people, when they experience things like this, and I don't blame them, we react. We react out of fear. We react out of anger. And that's kind of a natural fight or flight response. And so I want to be very careful about that because I know that in our country, I think there were actually a lot of people responding out of fear and anger. But I told myself, yes, I can acknowledge some fear and anger, but I want to respond, however, with love and wisdom. And so what would that look like to respond with love and wisdom? And this is when I thought of the idea of helping students to know their story, tell their story, listen to their stories with empathy and respect, and do something good with their story. That if students were to do this, and it's not just Korean Americans, but all students, if they had a chance to do this, I felt like that would make a difference in our community, that would make a difference in our state, that would make a difference in our country. And so it just began as kind of an ember of an idea 3 years ago. And look how far we've come to this night of resilience today. Now, this course, a lot of people ask, what exactly is this course going to be about? First of all, just a reminder that the Korean American story is a great American story for Korean Americans and all Americans. So when you hear the Korean American story, it's a story that's going to benefit everyone. Part 1 is this first part of knowing and being able to tell your own story, beginning with your own story of resilience, connecting to your parents' oral histories, and then telling these stories. For example, at this story, a night of resilience dedication night. Currently, all of us are also working to look at this book that you see here from Dr. Ed Chang. For me, it is just a straightforward book on the history of Korean Americans from 1903 to today. And the students are currently creating a children's book based on that. It's broken up into 8 different chapters, or 7 chapters and 1 introduction. And so there's 8 different groups who are breaking up and creating a resource. In part 3, we're going to be looking at Korean American stories of resilience. When I was growing up, and if someone were to ask me, could you name one Korean American that made a difference in the United States? I would have struggled to name even one. But fortunately, because the ethnic studies and model ethnic studies curriculum, the Korean American studies portion in that, there are many. And so we're going to learn many. And then they're going to curate a lot of these items in a virtual museum, which we'll also talk about in a little bit, so that even if they were not there, other people could go to this resource and learn something. And then finally, that last piece, which is a hallmark also of Anaheim Union High School District, which is that civic action and engagement and career connections. My hope is that students will, as they learn about these stories of resilience, they're going to want to do something too. And I'm curious what it is that they're going to do. It's, once again, not me telling students what to do, but students thinking about what it is that they want to do and me as a teacher supporting them. I can listen to this over and over, but this is basically the introduction, a mashup of my story of resilience, the very first assignment that I gave in this class. And when you listen to this assignment, I think it gives you an idea of what it is that we're going to do in this class, how we're going to showcase the work, because I think this assignment is just iconic of that. Now, what's exciting about this particular course is not just a course where they'll get high school credit, ethnic studies credit, honors credit. They're going to get so much more than that because we're actually partnering with a group. Our CAS Core pitched the idea to invent to prevent. There's our organization, also connected with the Department of Homeland Security, and we came up with these 3 goals of what we want to do to have this approach of stories of resilience where we know, tell, do something good with our story. So the first goal is happening tonight, where we have an opportunity to, with the ethnographies that we've created, to dedicate it to our families and their migration story and their stories of resilience, all of us together in one place. I just know it's going to be beautiful. Goal number 2 will be that the students will become JEDI, justice, equity, diversity, inclusion consultants to help others know and tell their story. And so we're going to discover what this exactly looks like for future events. Perhaps it could include the students being consultants, helping others to know and tell their stories, or creating spaces to know and tell their stories. It could be an example of social entrepreneurship, where they think of ideas to spread these ideas for good, not for profit, but for the benefit of the community. You can see that we have this logo that the students created. You see it says Korean American Studies at the top. And once again, the Korean American story is a great American story for Korean Americans and all Americans. And you can see this globe that they created. I thought it was so beautiful that we were just talking about it. And then Christine kind of encapsulated, brought together all the ideas, and then made this logo that with feedback from all the students. And then we continued to iterate upon it until this we came across this logo here. You see that know, tell, listen, do in that book that's there, which is an ethnography, which is so cool because that's what we're going to be passing out this very night. And then this becomes not just my story of resilience, but our story of resilience, because we've told this story to one another. And there's many different kinds of students in this class. There are Korean Americans, but there are all Americans in this class, different kinds of folks in this class, together, learning one another's stories and growing strong together. So that's the logo for this course. I just love it. And then goal number 3 is going to be the Korean American Virtual Museum. And our goal is to actually partner with E-Cadence. So we've also invited Deng Vu out to this Night of Resilience, where he's going to share a little bit about the AI bot and what E-Cadence has been doing with that, and how that might partner with us in creating this virtual museum. So can you imagine, once the students create this place, now they could, of course, live present this in classes or in other places, but what they could also do is maybe it's going to be a link that others can go to, and a chat, and an AI bot will be in there guiding folks to learn these stories from our students, and that the stories that our students have archived and stories that our students have created themselves. How wonderful would that be? We're going to have a panel. There's going to be in this panel, and I think this could be a whole nother activity in and of itself, but for the purposes of this evening, it's just going to be three pairs of student and parents, and they're going to be answering these 3 questions. Could you briefly introduce yourself, school, and grade? So we'll go down the line and everyone will have a chance to introduce themselves. What was your hope when you decided to take this course? And just having a chance to hear some of their thoughts on this. And then also, what is something you have appreciated about this course? So I think that will be a wonderful start to the launch then of our Stories of Resilience and the dedication portion of it. We're going to have an author come in of this book, but also read this poem, which will be translated into English, that encapsulates a little bit of the Korean American story of resilience from one of our staff members. And then I'll have a chance to do the same as well, as I'm reminded of my father and all this, and how he wrote a story about our journey, and something that I rediscovered very recently, actually, this video. And he talks about in this video an apple seed, and he's referring to me. And I just thought in my mind how even before I did anything significant with my life, I just graduated from college, and I really didn't feel like I had done so much. that hope, that aspiration that my own father had of me, and him telling me that story so way back when. Wow, how empowering that is. And no doubt, maybe tonight is even being influenced by his story over me, and me then wanting these stories to be told as well for Korean American Studies students in this course. But perhaps this is an idea that can have a ripple effect all across our district, county, and country. When the students present their stories of resilience, we'll likely use the support chairs method. As students read their dedication, they have a 15-slide printed copy of their ethnography that they'll be giving to a family member. And on the last page is actually the dedication that they had written. And so the support chairs approach will have the center chairs, who will be the folks that are sharing. And then once they share, they will move from that position. And then the support chairs will then fill in those positions. So this will allow for a more organic and free-flowing method of folks being able to, at their own comfortable pace, be participants in this story of resilience. And I'm thinking that at every dedication, as every student shares, maybe the last sentence that they'll share is, I dedicate this story of resilience to you. And then we'll know that the next person is ready to go. So I really feel like this is going to be, once again, a powerful night where students had a chance to know their story. And this is an opportunity for them. They already have told their story, but to tell their story in a little bit of a broader audience while others listen, respect. And when this is happening, I just really feel like there's going to be empathy, there's going to be connection, there's going to be compassion that's developed, and maybe a desire to actually do something more with their story. I'm hoping that this is going to bring families together. This is going to bring our community together. This is going to allow us to bring greater compassion for one another. Even though we have our different backgrounds, different experiences, this is my hope. And so I leave the audience then with the question, what will your story be? And I hope they are leaving with some thoughts on, how can I use my story to make a difference in my own community? Once again, there are so many folks that have made this evening a possibility. So once again, an opportunity to give some special thanks. And then we're going to have a student actually give the closing itself. This student is just so wonderful at just kind of encapsulating the ideas and thoughts and feelings of a particular space and of the people, and then sharing that out. So I'm looking forward to what that student will say, but I'm glad it's that a student will have the final word in this class. So this event is happening November the 13th once again, and this is my pre-planning just right before the event to share with my team, but also to remember like all the different parts and pieces that allowed this special night to occur.